On July 6th, 2021, I spoke with Suela Kindel, aka DTES GF. We spoke about her new album, Trannyversy, how DTES GF is a reflection of her changes in life over the last year, and how she shapes noise through personal experience in life.
Hello, lovely party people. It's the ditch from fucking hell. The bitch from fucking hell. Hi, my name's Suela. I'm a big old fucking tranny. I live in the downtown east side, and I've been making noise for over a fucking decade. I've also made other types of music, but it was never as good. Hello.
You are super established in the noise arena. Okay, when I think of noise, I think of you. But how did Downtown East Side GF or DTES GF start?
DTES GF started because my previous project turned into a girl. I felt like went as far as it possibly could. And so in December, I was invited to take part on a record called 100 Block Rock, which is a vinyl record compilation of musicians from the downtown east side. And I think, you know, a lot of people, like the people who like invited me and recorded me, like kind of just assumed it was going to be turned into a girl. But I thought, you know, I kind of want a new project name just because I feel like a lot of my like mood and just in general, like my mood has shifted. And I felt like turned into a girl, like largely was meant to represent, you know, periods of angst and bleakness and suicidal thoughts. Oh, what's so horrible? I'm gonna fucking shit. So when I retired, turned into a girl, like I said, I was invited to take part in this compilation. And I just sort of like pitched, like it was just like, hey, can my track be under the name DTESGF? Yeah. And then as far as how the first album came about, which is right here, it's called My Name is Suela, and I Don't Want to Kill Myself Anymore. Sorry. When I started recording this, I just like opened up Audacity and started like just doing fucking vocals. And you know, in general, in the past year, since the beginning of the year, I've just been feeling like a newfound happiness, hope, you know, just a renewed love of life after such a lifetime of fucking shit. So I just sort of went into the mic and I was just like, 2021, bitch! It's the year of gratitude. No more sad, miserable shit. We're hot, we're cute, we're getting laid, we're making some motherfucking noise. Just, you know, along those vibes, just like, I just fucking like poured my fucking heart and soul into just this like fucking rant, where I'm just like, fuck the old shit, you know, because so much of my older music was so centered around just like misery and bleak darkness and just, you know, emo shit. So yeah, I kind of just ad-libbed that and I sped it up, which became like a trademark of Downtown Eastside Girlfriend, was the sped up vocals. Cool. And I listened to it. I just listened to it. I was just listening to myself, just announcing a new era of high spirits and high emotions and just gratitude and love. And I was really just fucking in a great place mentally. And as far as like how the name Downtown Eastside Girlfriend like really plays into this, I think living in this neighborhood as someone who's like low income and like neurodivergent and struggles with drug addiction, in spite of all the shit that this neighborhood gets, I find myself feeling like extremely accepted by most people here. And obviously I'm not going to act like there isn't like fucking like people ready to stab you for your bike, but I think moving to the building I live in now, which is a women's building in the downtown east side, that was like the catalyst to me like really starting to like feel better and feel happier. So I wanted downtown east side girlfriend in my name. I wanted my name to reflect my neighborhood, because you know that's kind of like it's just kind of who I am, I've been homeless a bunch, and like I said, moving here last year after being in a fucking horrific, just terrible building for me for so long that was just tanking my mental health, to be given that way out, to be able to move somewhere and be offered somewhere safer and just happier, and like knowing peace in my living situation for the first time in my life. Wow. Right, like it was just so fucking overwhelming. And even though, so this album I did came out in February, and even though in the last little bit there's been some hiccups and things that have been frustrating for me, largely with like drug relapse and like heavier usage, I still am just in such a better place, because it's really really fucking crazy like how much moving to this neighborhood and moving into this building like helped my emotions and just helped me like feel so much better, helped me feel more accepted, because for a long time I've always felt like an outcast, a charismatic outcast who can definitely get people to find me charming, but an outcast nonetheless. And it's just nice here. It's just nice here. It's nice to like be around people who are like me and struggle with the same issues as me. So yeah, downtown east side girlfriend essentially like was born out of just me being super grateful to like be able to find a better building and a better neighborhood, uh and just like, yeah, a community of like people like me.
That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
I think, but I really think that people underestimate, they shouldn't at this point, but they underestimate how much shelter and community can do a lot for people, you know?
Yes.
Right?
No, it's very true. Yeah. And like, obviously not everyone in this neighborhood are best friends. And there's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like, for example, someone might steal someone's bike, shit like that happens, crime happens. But I'm I'm in a position where I'm feeling like, I feel like in my heart, like, you know, the people who do commit crimes in this neighborhood, they're not like, stereotypical ruthless, like, it's not like in the movies. I feel like I feel like most people in this neighborhood they wouldn't need to be resorting to crime if they had more supports.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and like that's the thing, like that's why this community is like so important, because I feel like people, they try their best to like just help each other out. There's animosity, and some people are just like naturally bitter and misanthropic, and but yeah, I think there's neighborhoods is like a place of love and like a place of care and compassion. um as a trans woman, obviously there's going to be guys talking shit, but that's not the whole picture. That's not the whole
Mhm.
picture. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's just really important to have community. And I'm happy that I have this in addition to the many different types of queer friends I have. But it's especially important to have the downtown east side community in alongside that, because for a long time there's just this feeling of animosity where it was like feeling like I only half belong.
Mm,
And
right.
then
Yeah.
Earl Sweatshirt's song "Chum" has lyric that I think is very fitting. Too white for the black kids and too black for the whites. You know,
Yep.
just a really good. I just really like that lyric because it just, that feeling like you only half belong or like somewhat belong.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's a real thing, and that applies in so many things. Being mixed race, being from different counterculture groups, from different subcultures. Just there's so many things that cause people to feel like they never really do get to fit in one place, or that they are welcome or can belong. So it is powerful that the downtown east side can facilitate that for you, and also in general, facilitate that for a lot of different people, because you're not alone in
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like it just like there's you really have to really like live here and spend time here to really like get the full picture of this neighborhood, because people who are outsiders, right? Like, I swear to God, these people act like the downtown east side is like Compton in the 80s, and it's really not that fucking. It's there's just this, yeah. I'm babbling.
No, I think it's great that you're providing a counter to a lot of the popular opinion of what goes on in the downtown east side in Vancouver, because not everyone who comments on it is from there. Not everyone comments on it, lives it and knows that experience, or can even have something to say about why they like it there, right? So I think it's really important to have these different opinions, and especially coming from someone who really has felt at home there. That's really special. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I want to ask you another question, because I think that if
Okay,
anybody, you would have a really great response to this. What is
okay.
what is noise to you? What is it?
It's
What is
noise.
noise? What
It's
is it?
noise.
It's
It's
just noise.
it's for listening and for making, and that's about it. I think people try to really make this shit like deep, but noise is an art form where you go into it. Uh, I think it's free from restrictions, and I think the nature of it, uh, allows the self to not be concerned with people who may dismiss it, because dismissal is very like it's a very common aspect in noise culture. Other like musicians or artists like dismissing it as like vapid or you know talentless. And so I feel like when you make noise for a long time, you really gain a sense of confidence in your ability to produce art for yourself. Because ultimately, the main reason anyone should make noise is because making noise is a fulfilling use of their time to them. To me, noise is just something that like was always an option to do. I made noise when I was homeless. I made noise when I was like in drug psychosis. I made noise when I was like, after a fucking full service date. After doing sex work, I made noise like, like to deal with being bullied. And now in 2021, uh, a lot of that angst and that misery that followed me for such a long time, that rendered noise as something I use to escape from the world. I feel like now I'm in a place where, with Downtown Eastside Girlfriend, the noise I'm making is just like just hi, what can you say? I think it's just
It's like a reversal. It's like a
it is
rebirth.
a reversal, because that's very good. Yeah, that's like yeah, good pickup on that. Because now I feel like I'm making noise where I'm just being Suela. I'm really just being myself. I'm like, letting loose, like not taking like the vocals so seriously, allowing myself to sing, allowing myself to like be funny and just, really, really be myself. Whereas in the past, I think at Swift, since noise was really like providing an escape from a lot of my torment and problems, when I would do vocals or whatnot, it would be like this detached, disembodied, sort of not Suela voice. It would just be me playing some kind of character or whatnot. So it feels really good to like be making noise that's like fully intertwined with myself.
Beautiful. That is really great. I think what's cool about that is that you really hit the nail on the head when you're saying how noise functions as this thing that prevents dismissal, right? Because my other question I was going to ask you is, how does noise differ from music? And I feel like you probably could take that further, but that right there really hits it on the head. You can get dismissed. There's a dismissal factor associated with music that's different for noise. But, add to that where you see fit. But I think there is something cathartic and really empowering. And also you can reverse it. Like you said, it was a source of, escape from a lot of shit in your life in the past. But now it's this like ability for you to re-celebrate yourself in a new format, like a butterfly.
I agree. Yeah. Like, it's just, it's fun. I'm going to say that. And it's also like, there's just this element of just like, improv. I think improv is being able to improv things is like a very like masterful skill. And yeah, just like letting the noise come out, letting the vocals come out, just not having a strict, rigid plan the way so much music, like even like so-called like extreme music is still very like rigid and like attached to a formula. With noise, you can really like truly like just be free. And I feel like what makes a good noise album is the artist has to have like a level of passion. The artist has to respect the craft. I think a lot of people like to say like anyone can make a noise album, but if you're just making it to like prove some contrarian point, like who cares? It's meaningless, right?
Yeah. But that's with all art, I would say. If somebody's going out there to try and say, oh, fuck you for trying to be abstract, Rothko, I'm just going to go here and paint a canvas white to prove you wrong. You lose all the message. It's the same thing.
I'm going to get my own giant Shark Tank.
Yeah, exactly. No, it doesn't. It's anything that's shitty and vindictive like that, or maybe that's not the right word, but I see where you're getting. And yeah, definitely. And I think there's a lot to really take in there, because people will underestimate, noise in certain circles and assume, well, what's this? How can this compare to music?
Oh, they love, they love acting like it's so like, I'm sorry, I can't take anyone seriously in 2021 who can't. It was like, I just can't wrap my head around it. Like, it's been around for 40 fucking years. Death Grips debuted 10 years ago. Like, I just feel, people are just so funny because they like to make noise out to be just millions and millions of there's two core tenets. Noise is for making and noise is for listening. It really doesn't get that much more deep. There, if maybe those like sack of shit British power electronics musicians from the 80s thought they were making something really deep and spiritual, but
I love it. You're great. You're great. Okay. You know what? That I think that I knew I was going to have a wonderful response from you about what noise is. And that totally hits it on the head. You even talk about how, your own life informs noise creation. And that's something that is such a artistic practice, God. Okay. I know we could talk a lot more about it, but I also want to hit on two other things, because I'm looking forward to playing the album that you were showing throughout our interview, but I'm also looking forward to playing your most recent release.
Trannyversy.
Yeah, Trannyversy. Trannyversy. Pardon me, I'm saying it funny. I don't know why.
Okay.
But this is a very this is a prolific track or album. It's got I'm saying I'm using it out of context, but you have 17 tracks on it. Are there 17
17.
tracks?
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's lots. It's good.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to go with 17 because I don't think I've ever had an album of 17 tracks. I've had an album of 18 tracks, 19 tracks, 20, 16. Yeah, but yeah, 17 was like a number that I just wanted to go for. I had to do some cuts to like make sure it wasn't over 80 minutes. Not, so it clocks in at a lovely 77 minutes.
Nice. And we're going to be hearing that entire album on my show today. So that's going to
Are
be
you
fun.
serious? That's sick. Okay.
Mhm.
Holy crap.
Oh,
Wow.
and we should mention, because you have one of your tracks with some audio visual art that you included for Hexanac,
Yes.
played just last week. That was a
Party
good track.
girl. Party girl from hell. Yeah. Yeah. May I talk about Trannyversy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Please,
So
I didn't properly get that going. Do it.
it's okay. So Trannyversy is an album I started near the beginning of June, and its title references my coming out anniversary. I came out on June 5th, 2012. Now the original title was going to be Trannyversy, the weekend I chose healing over drugs, because I was so in love with this romantic ideas of like, I fucking put my transition over drugs and everything was all fucking wonderful. But I scrapped that title because originally I thought it was a bit too on the nose. I try to like avoid that. And then what ended up happening is like 2 days before the album was done, I like fucking relapsed again. And so Trannyversy, I think, represents a like a 360 in mental health, because it starts off the first couple of tracks I recorded the first couple tracks when I was like 4 days without sleep, just fucking absolutely destroyed on crystal meth. And so a lot of those first couple songs are like, I'm scared to die, I need to get clean, back to the happy girl, back to the happy girl, back to the happy girl. I need y'all to see that I'm not fucking okay. But yeah, and then I had a 13-day sobriety period, which 13 days off crystal meth cold turkey is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, like I'm pretty
I'll be honest, I am frustrated that like I bailed again. But yeah, so I was sober for a good chunk of producing that album, and that was cool. I was like making songs about I was letting myself get a little bit more, dealing with a bit more, like darker subject matter, but nothing like what I used to make, but yeah, just like songs about feeling unlovable when I'm high, or like there's a song on Trannyversy called Overconfident Brick. And that song is about how it's sometimes the women the women who live at the, so like I said, I live in a women's building, and a lot of them are very, very nice to me and just like compliment my hair, like the way I look, my shoes, and it just fills me with a lot of love. So the idea of that song is like, because there have been times when I was like feeling really good about myself, went outside, and then some assholes like making fun of me, talking shit to me. But it's it's like tongue in cheek. It's like tongue in cheek. I'm like playing around, I'm not truly like dogging down on myself, which is another thing that sets Downtown Eastside Girlfriend apart from my earlier projects, is because is like I feel like I'm like with Downtown Eastside Girlfriend, I'm able to talk about some negative emotions I have without it being like cloaked in gratuity,
Yeah.
because a big difference in my mental health in the last year is I de-escalate a lot easier on my own. Like, back in the day when I started having suicidal thoughts, like that would just go on for like 8 or 9 fucking hours. But as I like adjusted to living in this new building that, like I said, was proved to be fucking amazing to me, I found myself like really able to like, obviously the dark thoughts don't just go away automatically, but what does help a lot is that I'm able to rationalize now. I'm able to like, talk myself down. I'm able to like, and relatively quickly too. And, shout out to my counselor and my outreach workers. They helped a ton in helping me develop these skills. And so I feel like, yeah, that's like what Trannyversy, I feel like Trannyversy like reflects like me like feeling bad, but also like me wanting to like, it's just.
I appreciate the tongue in cheek, and I've always appreciated your sense of humor, which you have a really outstanding one.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know. I've
But
just
yeah,
always enjoyed it. It's been great. I've always loved your jokes and just your way. But it does. I do really appreciate, because I am really sensing the thread, and I'm sensing the shift that's taken place with DTES GF. Right. I'm getting that because once again, I'm lucky to have been privy to your historical escapades in Victoria, and that includes Turned Into a Girl, which is a very different project from what you're doing right now. And I actually just want to take a moment, because I think it is really cool, and I know you're doing self-release right now, but you do have experience having and taking care of an owner operator of a noise label. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was, so there's a pressing plant based in Nevada. They're called Kunaki, and they produce the CDs for me. And so I started using that to like, make physical copies of either mine or other people's musics. While fucking homeless, like a lot of that was like financed with my welfare check, and then like orders were made on my laptop at a fucking homeless shelter. So I don't know how many people can claim to have ran a label when they were fucking homeless.
No.
But it was pretty fun. It was kind of disastrously organized. I feel like I was making a lot of rookie mistakes. Like I feel like if you're gonna run a label, don't follow in my footsteps, because the biggest mistake I made was getting new people on the label before I had taken time to make sure the previous people had gotten their their artist copies. So then it just became this big fucking backlog of just and there was also just way too much of my own content on there, like stupid amounts.
I don't know. I'm gonna stop you there. I think. Oh, echo. There's always going to be a lot of the person who's established the label's stuff on it. Every single label I've come across, after you look at it, and especially when you snoop back to like when it first started, it's like, gee, there's a lot of this one particular band on that label. Gee, I wonder who that is. And it turns out it's the person who started the label. So I don't think you should be ashamed of that. But I think that you're looking back in retrospect about how you would do it differently. Are you thinking of maybe doing it again in the future? And would you?
No. Hell no. No label. I already, before Fuck Your Body Up, I ran Garbage Men Puking, which was my stupid little bandcamp net label that hosted people's music for free download. And yeah, just
too much work.
It was an amazing way, at the time, it was an amazing way to spend time. It was an amazing way to like meet different noise artists from all over the world.
Yep.
But I'm just
because you had people from Russia on that too, like Russia and
Russia and Belarus and
all
Australia, just all over the fucking world. Yeah. There's a thing that I feel like it's phased out, like it's been phased out over time, but I would host these compilation albums, and what you do is you make a Facebook event and you just call it like, fuckity cluck cluck, harsh noise compilation seeking submissions, and you just provide your email, and it was a trick I picked up from like other labels doing it. But yeah, I was able to like host dozens and dozens of different compilations with many different artists, and it's really cool when like a bunch of like artists come together and not really knowing what the other songs are going to be like, and just build an album out of that.
Yeah,
that's really cool. And just in general, I feel like industrial music and noise music culture has always there's always been like an emphasis on various artists compilations.
Yeah.
So
I think it is really I feel silly. I just want to grab one of the, because I still have a number of your awesome CDs, and
oh wow, okay, I'm excited to see these.
Oh yeah.
CDs.
Well, I've also got the tape that you did of us too. I don't have like the full lineup, but I think this is fun to pull out. So
okay, let me look at some of these. Okay. Oh shit. How did that? Okay, that's cool. Cause I was that. How did that get to Victoria?
It was one of the ones that I was lucky to have.
That's so awesome. That makes me really happy to see that.
I think what's cool is I know that you're shifting away from what Turned Into a Girl was and is, which is great. But I think it's really cool that you have such a great log of all of your, creations. It's like a big, huge sketchbook of these sounds and these different stages. It's true. And then
thank you.
This is the other one.
Yeah, I mean, there was a oh yeah. Okay, so that the Obsession Distortion tape. That's from Uninvited Records. Special thanks to Joe Palsy from Frataxin. He's the one who put that together. Hell yeah. I remember now. That looks so fucking awesome.
That was a good day. That was a good night.
Dude, yeah.
That was a good day.
I wonder how much more Andy Anderson has. I wonder if he just has like a great fucking.
I don't know. You should check out his YouTube Bottom Feeder. I'm pretty sure there's actually some footage on there. But yeah, there's so many.
Well, there are a couple of my shows on there.
Yeah, there are. There definitely
we're on their Obsession Distortion, the show we played for the Abhorrent Affair. Well, I can't remember what the first word is. Aberrant.
The Aberrant
Affair.
And you made the poster for it.
Yeah, I did make the poster for it, and I really am proud of that poster. I'd actually love another copy of it. That show is fucking crazy because so first of all, I'm wearing like these heavy steel-toed boots, and I'm like jumping around, hopping off shit. I don't know if you remember. I actually had to go home after my set because I fucked my back up.
I remember that. You were very physical in the expression of what you were doing.
Yeah. Right. Like, oh my God. Yeah. That was super fun.
It was really fun. I remember that. I remember my drum rhythm was getting tedious. I look back at that now and I wish I wouldn't have been so repetitive, but.
Oh my God. I feel like we were all just fucking around.
We're having fun. It was fun. It was
we were having fun.
And that's one of the key things for noise, isn't it? Making it and having fun.
Oh my God. Remember the fucking show at Logan's we did? It was before
Which one?
Oh no. Like it was before Adrian. It was when me, you, and JP were going by Jaded, which was
that's right.
Kind of a generic name. A bit of a generic name.
Whatever. It was fun.
It was fun. Yeah. Like.
Oh my God.
Yeah, performing in Victoria was really fun.
Yeah. But Vancouver's been better to you. Vancouver's
been better to me. Not a fan of this. Not a fan of the COVID bullshit. Like, obviously, legit. Like the lack of shows is actually like what, like, made my drug use spiral out of control this year.
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask you about how that has affected you. So yeah.
I mean, sure, you can ask me. Like, you want to talk about?
Well, no, like how did COVID like?
Oh, okay, COVID.
This? Yeah, well, I guess.
Well, I think for 2020, I had a really good 2020. Because it was the year I moved from a fucked up, like, the Biltmore sucks. I'm not getting into it. Just a really like dangerous, violent building full of like fucked up people. So in early 2020, I was able to move to a much safer building. And so while everyone else's lives are just completely fucked up from COVID, I felt like I was the only one having a good time because I was just awarded this new opportunity, this new chapter in my life. But 2021, it's definitely like really starting to take a toll on me. I feel like I'm finally like catching up to everyone else's dread. I would love it if I would personally love for shows to come back. I mean, I was double vaxxed by fucking February. I was like on that shit. It was like being offered in the downtown east side, and I was like, yeah, I would like the cough without killing old people, so I like got that vaccine.
That's really the sweetest
and
thing I've heard in a long time.
Well, I know, right? Well, because like I have a smoker's cough, which like was really worrying, right? Like, I like to smoke cigarettes outside, and occasionally I might have a bit of a cough. But if we're talking about a deadly fucking virus, like, obviously I'd want to like reduce potential for spreading infection or illness as much as possible. Blows my fucking mind that like so many people are against this basic idea. But
it's hard, and it is such a complicated thing because we have so many different people with different opinions all at once. The fact that there's as many people that are still currently alive for it from this whole weird experience is great. That's
yeah,
right now. Like at least this many people survived it, because I don't know anymore.
That's a big reason why the vaccination is so important, because a lot of people, when they get COVID, they can be saved as long as there's like hospital ICU, like as long as that shit's like available. Because yeah, that's like why all those fucking people in Italy and shit were like dying at a rapid rate, is because the hospitals were just getting like jam-packed full. The less people in the hospital from COVID, the more resources there are for someone if they're like immunocompromised or like elderly. It just makes sense, and I wish these fucking hippies would find something else to complain about, because like honestly, like vaccines aren't even that, they're not dangerous. They've been around since the fucking 1800s.
Yeah.
And they're not putting any like crazy shit in there, yo.
There's no nano devices in them. It's just
it's a fucking vaccine.
Oh well.
Yeah, I went on a tangent, but yeah, 2021 with the lockdown still in place, I'm grateful for the friends I get to spend time with. But I really miss shows. I miss performances. I miss parties. And yeah, I think that's like a big part of like what Trannyversy was like about. Because when I made My Name is Suela and I Don't Want to Kill Myself Anymore back in February, I had already sort of began like, falling off the wagon. And then as like my usage increased more and more, it was like, well, it's not so much falling off the wagon as it is falling off, getting stuck to the wheel and getting dragged for 18 blocks. But yeah, I think Trannyversy, I wanted to just really like, I knew I couldn't make another album with like the cute little happy trans women all over the world. Happy trans women all over the world. Happy trans women all over the world. Well, look in the mirror and feel satisfied. Like, that shit. Okay, to be honest, that made me feel very good. But I knew I couldn't go for such a like happy-go-lucky, I couldn't go for such a happy-go-lucky like theme with Trannyversy, because I was actively in a crisis, and I feel like I really try to convey that on that album. Like there's several times on it where I'm like just begging people to like realize that like it's not an act or like an aesthetic, it's not cute or like anything. It's like I'm suffering.
Yeah, there's a fine balance, fine line.
Yeah, there is a fine balance, but making it was still like it was still fun for me. It was still very fun. And like I said earlier, with the idea of the 360 mental health, because it started off with me being like, oh my God, I have just destroyed my fucking brain with crystal meth. And I was like, obviously struggling to sleep. So I recorded some vocals for, 2 songs. And then when I went to bed and woke up, I was like, all right, I'm going to start getting sober. So I was using the album as a way to like distract myself from wanting drugs. And I really wanted it to work out that way. I wanted it to be this like big fucking romantic thing. But life's not a movie. Real life's not a movie. And so like the 360 comes from like being so fucked up, I think I'm gonna fucking die. Oh yay, I'm healing. I'm healing. And then right back there to just, just feeling fucking trashed. And I even like referenced the difference between Trannyversy and My Name is Suela from February. I like quite literally say, I wanted to make another album that uplifts and inspires. Because yeah, that was kind of like what I wanted to do with Trannyversy. I wanted it to be this like, picture perfect story about just quitting drugs and recovery, but addiction doesn't play nice. And so I kind of like incorporated these last couple of tracks about just like feeling like like bittersweet about it.
Yeah.
Actually, do you want to share anything about about addiction to anybody who is struggling themselves, or could potentially find themselves on the precipice of dealing with that? Is there anything that, coming from your experience, that you would want to sort of say to them or help them out with?
Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to say is just don't fucking do meth ever. It's not one of those drugs where it's like, oh, well, maybe they're just exaggerating how bad. It's really, 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 you get yourself like wrapped up into this shit, and it's not the best. It's really not the best. My advice to anyone is like, don't wait until your addiction is like looks like a fucking movie where you're like selling babies and stealing from banks for meth money. Don't wait until your life looks like a dramatization before you make a change. Because like maybe it will never get that bad, but there's a lot of like much more grounded reasons to like quit drugs. Like maybe if let's say if you're having like anxiety attacks every day, or like let's say like you're losing track of time, or I hate the idea of rock bottom. I hate the way movies portray it, because I feel like a lot of people they wait for that like dramatic rock bottom moment, and it never comes, so they just keep fucking using. And I think that like it's okay to quit. It's okay to want to quit. You don't really need this shit. And I think if you can find a way out, run with it. Just take it. Just go. It's okay to like let people's compassion and gentleness into your heart. Because like I find, like I found myself this year at times feeling extremely frustrated by what felt like people like minimizing my addiction, or like but I think what they were actually doing was being gentle with me, because they recognized that I was definitely in a really bad place. And honestly, I don't bullshit myself. I'm not one of those people who's like, nah, I'm like this is a fucking drug problem. Like I don't use every day, but I'm still fucking addicted.
But that's half the battle. I would say sometimes that's really hard for some people to identify. So that's really great that you can identify that to start.
I'm a very problem-solving oriented person, so I can't just like fuck around and pretend like it's okay when
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
When I'm like having anxiety attacks from it, or like, let people's gentleness into your heart. I know it can be really easy to want to like be like, no, god damn it, you should be angry at me. I'm a fuck up, I'm a screw up. But I think historically that approach doesn't work on people. It can be very easy to like get that mentality and then feel like you're like showing yourself discipline or whatever, but you're really just being a fucking asshole to yourself. I think you just go at your own pace. It's okay to feel frustrated with yourself, but don't beat yourself up too long, because otherwise you're just gonna put yourself in a state where you're vulnerable to do more drugs. So just try and like balance like, the frustration with, self-care and self-compassion and self-love. And just, yeah, like just go at your own pace and do what you can,
That's
I don't
beautiful,
really
Suela.
have a definitive answer.
Yeah, it does.
But no,
Yeah, I
just
think that's really lovely.
do the best you can. That's the thing. It's like, it sounds like hippie shit, but it's honestly true. Like, do the best you can. And if you fuck up, if you relapse, well, that doesn't really like, it doesn't matter. If you relapse, then you've relapsed. There's nothing that can change that. So you might as well, just try and be gentle with yourself.
Tomorrow is another day.
Tomorrow is another day.
Right. And so that's the big thing to remember is you put your effort in, you work hard on yourself as much as you can, and you can't really attack yourself, and you really shouldn't, because you're not going to make progress if you make a mistake on one day.
No, yeah, like self-depreciation is one of the worst things our society has normalized.
It's true, actually. You're right. That is something that our society really does encourage, for sure.
If I can go back to my name is Suela and I don't want to kill myself anymore.
Yeah, go for it.
There was another inspiration regarding this album. Just how like, for trans women, we're supposed to be like, we're expected to think less of ourselves. And I think a lot of girls, like, they get caught up in that self-depreciation thing, and they think they're like being edgy or like subversive. But this society really punishes trans women when they're confident. And I think that's fucking gross. And I think a big reason why I wanted to like express a newfound like love and admiration for just transgender culture and my own transness is that, I could continue like just berating myself, self-depreciating, right? But you know what that does? That's just taking the easy way out. Self-depreciation is a way to avoid being knocked down a peg.
It's true.
So
yeah.
What you got to do is, I've really like taught myself, like, I just don't really give a shit what people who actively seek to make trans women feel like shit have to say about me. Because it's low-hanging fruit, right? It's just like, it's very easy to make a tranny joke and get away with it. I'm done being too scared to like love myself. I'm done being too scared to like say I'm beautiful. I'm not gonna bend to the will of trans misogynists. I'm not gonna play this game where it's like, oh yeah, I suck, I'm trash, fuck that. That shit's old. That shit leads to suicides, and that's not a good thing.
No, it's
I
not.
want to practice like love, self-love, spreading love to trans women. And if someone wants to say it's like, oh, it's so cheesy, it's so corny, you don't understand like the realities of being a trans woman. It's like, no, look. I've legit seen like girls die. I've legit like had friends commit suicide. And I almost fucking committed suicide
Yeah.
buying into that fucking horse shit of being just like being an emo self-hating fuck. Like that shit almost made me kill myself.
Yeah, and that's
And
it's not helping. It's not
it's
helping.
not helping. It's not
No.
it's not helping. It's a toxic coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It's a toxic coping mechanism. Because like I said, you know, if you're already like shitting on yourself, you don't gotta worry about people knocking you down a peg.
Yeah.
But if you build a confidence in which you're already anticipating to be knocked down a peg by individuals who choose to reciprocate oppressive values towards trans women, you know, if you set yourself up and you actively like tell yourself, I don't fucking care what people have to say, and mean it, you know, that's when the like confidence can really like start to flow.
And then
So
also you're in a more stable place that way, and then you can, you know, you can overcome things, and then you can also say, hey, I'm worth more than doing this to myself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because like I said, too many fucking girls have committed suicide over bullying or hopelessness, you know. Honestly, like when that's like I hope that if any like younger trans women like who are listening to the Downtown Eastside Girlfriend, like I just hope they like I just hope it rubs off on them. You know, I just hope it like kind of rubs off on them. And
You'd be
like,
surprised who tunes in and who listens to what and what it does to them. And they sometimes may never make contact, but it makes a you know, a major impression on them. You know,
yeah,
I just want to say this has been really great chatting with you. This has been
yeah,
really just like personally awesome to catch up, and also just
Mhm.
really fun to hear what, you know, what's been on your mind and what's been going down.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing good for myself.
You
There's
are.
been some tricky moments, but mental health is good. I'm eating. I got 4 walls. I got love in my life. I got lovely friends. I got music, and I got noise, and I got like, you know, like life's not like, you know, I've been dragged through the fucking gutter. I've lived in just the most absolute shit situations, and yeah, there it really is possible, you know, to like to come out okay, no matter how fucking bleak or dark or fucked up the situation may be. And I think, you know, that's just a big that's a big part of the feelings I've been feeling lately. It's just like, you know, all those like hopeless like nights homeless or like, you know, they weren't for nothing. They weren't for nothing. And that's why my coming out anniversary is so important to me, because it's like a spiritual thing. It's like I can feel my hand extending out to that of my younger self, and I'm like holding it and squeezing it, and like like me now was the person who gave my younger self the strength to keep going and to like, you know, take risks and move across the country and really get my fucking life started. Like I had to fight tooth and nail to get, you know, basic shit that everyone else has, like, you know, a nice home where people aren't fucking yelling or throwing liquor bottles around, you know, any of that dumb shit. You know, I fought tooth and nail just to have the most basic sense of like safety in my own home, which was deprived of me for so long. And yeah, it's worth life's worth living. Life's worth living. It's
It
worth
is.
it to, yeah, and that's what I want. That's what I want trans women listening to my music to feel, is like, you know, maybe it can be my hand squeezing them and telling them like, you know, baby, it's gonna be okay. Or maybe it can be like their older selves, or maybe like someone who's passed away. I just want every trans woman who listens to my music to like, you know, feel a fucking like a support, like feel like someone helping them get through whatever horrific situation they've gone through. Because, you know, I just don't want any more trans women dying young. Um, 3 years ago, I lost my 3 years ago I lost my friend Caitlin, and she was my age, and
Oh wow.
yeah, I never get over that, you know.
Yeah.
And I live to honor the trans women around me, and I live in honor of those who I have very unfortunately outlived. Ba, 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 baby. So
That's really beautiful, and I think that a lot of people will take that away from this. I think that's really powerful. But I just want to say thank you. This has been great. Like,
thank you. No, yeah, this was really cool.
so good.
Thank you, Suela, for chatting with me. It is always a blast catching up with you and hearing what new sounds you create. Be sure to check out her Bandcamp.